I never expected my life to take such an eerie turn. But here we are. It all started on a particularly foggy night last year. I had been assigned to the remote island lighthouse for months now, and was used to the solitude of that rocky outcrop. But something felt different tonight. The storm raged fiercely, and visibility dropped to almost zero. My only companions were the rhythmic crashing of waves against the cliffs and the steady hum of the foghorn. I leaned against the railing, sipping my lukewarm coffee and staring at the endless, murky sea. Then, out of nowhere, a beam of light pierced through the darkness, slicing across the horizon like a ghostly knife. I blinked, half expecting it to be a mirage, or maybe a trick of the mind brought on by fatigue. But the light was too persistent. It didn't fade away as I watched, growing stronger and more defined with each passing second. At first, my heart leapt in excitement. Perhaps another ship had run aground nearby, needing assistance? But then, I noticed something peculiar. There was no vessel anywhere near the light's location. It just hung there, unmoving, as if it were a beacon of its own accord. As the night wore on, the light began to shift slightly, growing closer by the minute. It seemed almost alive, like a creature with intent rather than mere mechanical function. The fog only added to the surreal atmosphere. Everything else around me was shrouded in mystery. I tried to convince myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, but every time I looked out into the mist, there it was, unerringly steady and bright. Every hour marked by a distant bell from the lighthouse clock felt like an eternity, stretching the night's tension until it seemed to crack under its own weight. And then came the realization that would change everything. The second light had moved closer, now barely a mile away. It was no longer just a point of illumination. There were distinct shapes within the beam, shifting and flickering like eyes. I stepped back from the railing, heart pounding in my chest as I clung to the edge of reality. What could be causing this? Some sort of natural phenomenon, perhaps? But it felt too orchestrated, too deliberate. Then came the final revelation that chilled me to the core. Every time I looked at myself in one of the lighthouse windows, there was a split-second delay before I saw my reflection. It wasn't just light, it was a mirror image, but not my own. The realization hit like a physical blow. The second light wasn't just another beacon, it was an imitation, designed to mimic the lighthouse's signal so precisely that it could fool anyone inside. But why? What would draw ships and people into such a treacherous place? I couldn't shake off the feeling of being observed, watched. The air felt thick with hidden intentions. The next morning, as dawn broke over the horizon, casting its golden light across the sea, I made my decision. I packed what little supplies I had and set out for a small boat that lay beached near the lighthouse. The boat was old, but it would have to do. As I pushed off from the shore, the second light still hung there, now only half a mile away. It was as if it knew I was leaving, almost as if it wanted me to see that it could follow me wherever I went. I rowed with all my might, not daring to look back until I had safely anchored the boat on the other side of the island. Only then did I turn to face the second light, now nearly in sight. It flickered once more before vanishing into the mist, leaving behind only a faint echo of its presence. That night, as I lay in my small sleeping quarters inside the lighthouse, I couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. But beneath that humor lay a deep-seated unease, a lingering sense that the world was not what it seemed. And when the storm raged again and the second light appeared once more, this time closer than ever before, I knew that some mysteries are better left unexplained. The mirror light, a legend or something worse? Only time will tell if it's truly a friend or foe. But for now, I just hope to keep my sanity intact as long as the second light shines in my direction. And with that thought, I drifted off into an uneasy sleep, knowing full well that some things are better left untouched and unseen. The end.